Good morning, everyone. So today, like we talked about in lesson, we're just going to be doing the texture juxtaposition. So obviously in lesson we have been looking at textures. So today what we're going to do is we're going to draw something and we're going to use a completely different texture to add a little surreal element to it. Now obviously you can choose whatever you want to draw. I've chosen a banana, and then I'm going to add probably fur and brick to it, okay? Because I think that they're the best textures to draw, really. So you can see that I'm just starting off there by the shape of the banana, and then I'm just going to split it like so. If you want to start off by drawing a banana, because I'm showing you how to draw the outline, that's fine by me, but please try your hardest to choose something that is a little bit different to what I've done. That way everyone's got different work and it's just a little bit more fun to mark for me. There we go. So if you look on my PowerPoint, I've said that step 1 is to draw your picture, so there you go. And then step 2, just try and get rid of loads of those marks that you don't think that you're going to need. Obviously I wasn't intending this to be the final piece, so I've got loads of rough little lines that I'm just going to get rid of. There we go. So I've got a bit of a neat outline of a banana now. Alright, so that should take you about 5 minutes, something like that. And then what we're going to do is going to use a range of pencils. So here you can see that I've got a 2B pencil and a 4B pencil. I'm going to start off by using the 2B pencil, and then I'm going to work up to the 4B pencil, okay? So I'm going to make the banana peel out of brick, and then the banana out of fur. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by doing little flicks like so. So I've mentioned it in my PowerPoint, but I'll just say it again. If you have done the texture lessons that we talked about, then obviously you'll be quite good at drawing all of the different textures, because you should have practiced with the texture hands and the build up with the spheres and everything and the eggs. If you haven't, what I would suggest is just pause this video before you get started and drawing on the textures, and then just draw around your hand and draw a few textures in the fingers, so that you just practice different textures, find out which textures you like, and then add them to the shapes. Sorry, I say shapes, I mean the objects, but I break it into shapes, don't I? So you can see now that instead of having like a nice smooth yellow banana, I've got a hairy banana. I'm just going to keep going until the whole thing is finished. This video might be a little bit boring, so you might want to fast forward it a little bit to the point where I'm adding the darker tones, because my plan is to fill the whole banana with the hair and then start adding darker tones to give a bit of depth to the banana, so that it's not just a boring flat shape. Because as you can see, this hair that I'm drawing is all kind of the same tone. What I'm doing is I'm trying to point my pencil in all different directions when I'm drawing it. Alright, so it gives that kind of messy hair effect. If it was all neat and smooth, I mean, you could achieve a hair look, but this is a lot quicker and a lot more effective. And what I like to do is pretend that everything is three-dimensional, so it's coming out of the shape. Can you see how you can't see the actual shape of the banana anymore? It's like a fur. Alright, so now that I've got that fur, I'm going to start adding some darker tones to it now. So I've switched from the 2B pencil to the 4B pencil. So I'm pretending obviously that the light is coming in here and it's going like that. So I'm just going dark down at the bottom and on the left hand side. And what I plan to do is just softly blend that in like that. Can you remember I told you not to go left and right or up and down? What I told you to do was just do tiny little scribbles, but ever so softly, and then just build that up. Can you see if I just took my pencil off now, can you see that that one black area really stands out, doesn't it? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try blend that into the edge hairs like that, and I'm going to try and blend it out as I go across banana. Now notice that this line here is really messy. Don't worry about that. The reason that I've done this shape before this shape is because that is slightly on top, so when I come to neatening everything up, it'll make it a lot easier for me. Okay, so notice how now I'm just doing it really soft. The beautiful thing about a 4B pencil as well is it just darkens everything really quickly. So you can see that if I go over something really soft, it changes the depth of it, and then if I keep going, it just makes it ever so slightly darker. Okay? See that? Cool. Right, let me just get some scissors. So if you've got a rubber and some scissors, what you want to do is you want to just chop a little slice of your rubber, like so. And where you've got a little sharp bit like that, so you can use a rubber like you would use a pencil. So the sharp pointy bits just flick like you would with a pencil when you're creating hair texture. And then you've just got some lighter areas as well. The reason that I'm doing this, if you ever look at your hair in the light or look at someone else's hair in the light, you can see that there's some streaks in it created by the light source, so that just adds to it. And then what I'm going to do is just go over every area, make sure that it's all exactly how I want it. Put some slightly darker little flicks in there, and you can see now that looks like a hairy banana. Alright, and now just get rid of those mucky marks there that I've created when I've obviously wiped the paper with my lead on my finger. Good. Alright, so now next step. So obviously I know that took me 8 minutes, but what I would like for you to take extra time with this, go slowly, make sure that everything is perfect, and please do not rush it. Alright, right, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to ever so slightly just draw some lines like so. And what you do, if you look at obviously the cartoony way of drawing bricks, you draw a line and then you draw lines either side of it. See what I mean? Like that. So already I've created kind of like a brick look about it. Alright, and Actually, what I'll do is I'll just do that one as well. Alright, so I've created that cartoony brick look. Alright, but I don't want that. What I want is a three-dimensional brick look. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to take these shapes and I'm going to, in fact, before I do that, I'm just ever so slightly just going to rub out the outline. I'll show you why in a second, okay? Because it's a lot easier to change the edge of something. It's a lot easier to change the edge of something when you don't have a defined edge. So what I'm going to do, look, is I'm just going to take each of these little outlines that I've just made, so picture like a cobbled stone flooring. You get it in like marketplaces of like Manchester, Preston. So you can see that using my rough guides, my outlines, I've been able to just create the look of a brick. More like a cobblestone than a brick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn each one of these. I'm just going to add a little bit of tone to each one. So again, I'm going to pretend that the light is coming in from here, just so that the light source kind of runs throughout the whole picture. So if the light is coming in here and it goes light, medium, dark on this part of the banana, I'm going to do the same here. So obviously it will be a little bit darker here, and then just going lighter, darker here, going lighter. And I'm just going to continue to do that all the way through the bricks. Now this is very repetitive, so try and pick a texture that you're not going to get bored with, or because you're all at home you can maybe sly off for a cup of tea halfway through to break it up. If you have your sketchbooks with you, please make sure that you are pushing yourself with this and that you're choosing some subjects that be quite difficult. Like I'm drawing one banana, maybe you could draw like a fruit bowl and you could have all different fruits made of all different textures. Do the extension task, which is the texture hands, and make sure that you've done that. Right, two things. I'm going to switch pencil now, put my 2B down, pick up my 4B, and the 4B is just going to get, in fact, before I do this 4B, I'm just going to ever so softly just brush that with my finger, just to get rid of a few of the little pencil marks. Okay, and now I'm going to get in there, look, with my 4B, and all bricks or cobblestones or whatever you want to be calling them are put together with some kind of adhesive. So I'm just creating dark lines in between so that we can see that this cement or concrete or whatever is sticking these together. Cool. And then last but not least, the finishing touch, what I'm going to do with a nice sharp edge, I'm just going to hold your pencil loose, and I'm just going to put a kind of little crack in there. Not on all of them, just on some of them. Cool. You can't really see that massively because I've been so light with my pencil, but what I've tried to do is something like this, look. I've tried to kind of just go like that, so it looks like a crack in the brick. At the end of the video I'll put the camera close up so that you can see it, okay? Can you see that? Brilliant. So now I'm just going to do it again here and here. Really sorry, like I said, not forgetting to change from a 4B to 2B, because if I do it all in 4B it'll just be so unbelievably dark, and then I will just smudge it everywhere. I was intending this video to be 10 minutes or so, and then I finish the drawing later on, but I might as well just do it, keep the video on, and then that way you lot can watch the video, you can pause it, you can fast forward it, you can do whatever you want. If you are going to copy me doing the brick texture or the fair texture or even the shape of the banana, that's fine, but like I said, I do not want you to do exactly the same as me. I want you to Google different textures. I've put some of them on the PowerPoint so you can look at some of them. Ones that I see in lesson all the time that work really well. Fish scales. Wood's a really good one. What else do I see? Metal's a good one. In fact, what I'll do is I'll just make a separate little video of just showing some examples of how to do them. I'll put them in this PowerPoint as well. So notice now, this is just the outline of all the bricks. Now obviously, now that I've added all of the shapes, you can't really differentiate what is the front and what is the side of the banana to make it three-dimensional. So that is a flat drawing. It's boring. We don't want boring, we don't want flat. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and pop it off the page by using all of the tones and stuff that I've previously shown you. Okay, so this line here, we kind of want to make sure that that stands out. So can you see here how I've got the dark, the medium and the light? I'm going to try and run that through as well. Okay, I don't really know what I'm going to do on that side. So again, I'll just remind you all how we figure out where the light's coming in. So the light is coming in here. So we've got dark, medium, light. So here I'm going to do the same, and then it's obviously, it just continues through the page. You can see that. So weird doing artwork without music on. Hope you lot have got some music on the go. Nice cup of tea, nice and warm. Talk you through what I'm doing here. I'm doing like dark on one side to medium to light, and then dark on the bottom to medium to light, and then I'm just adding a little smudge with my finger. And the reason that I'm doing this is just so that it's a continuation of the light source all the way through the banana. I really don't want one brick to stand out as being really light, or one brick to stand out as really dark and it's out of place. The darkest bricks should be the ones that are to the left hand side, and of course underneath the banana peel. And like I said, the front and the side we'll change that up when we add the darker tone at the end. So obviously I'm working with a 2B pencil now. When I change to the 4B pencil, it instantly gets a lot darker. One thing that I didn't actually mention is I did start on the left hand side working my way over. The reason being I'm right handed, so you want to be going whichever way you're handed. So if you're left handed, you go that way, for instance, and that just stops you from smudging. So I'm just using my fingers. Now I don't have the world's smallest fingers, but I can still smudge it a little bit and try and keep it shape by shape. Try and use your little finger and get in there, it's a lot easier. And now, just like I did on the first bit of the banana peel, I'm just getting in here and just creating that darkness in between all of the bricks. Can you see? And then it makes each brick stand out. And then, like I said to you, when you get to the center point, if that way there, I'll just do these bricks. I'll just do these bricks, and then I'll start adding the center bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just ever so slightly just really softly add a little bit of tone to that. And now obviously I'm just going low down, just carrying on, just filling in the gaps where I can to make the bricks stand out. And And then just like I did here, I'm just going to add just a dark kind of shade here, especially underneath this banana peel. And there you go. So now I've finished the actual undercurrent of the banana peel. Now I'll do the top bit. I don't quite know what I'm going to do on the top bit. Before, and I do think that they're really good to draw, and they're not only good to draw, they're quite easy to draw, but you've got to understand the technique really. So I'll do those now so that everyone's got that. And like I said, please don't feel as though you need to copy me. Right, okay, so I am going to grab a little something to lean on so that I'm not smudging all of the 2B pencil and the 4B pencil, because look, you can see already I'm starting to get all of the lead all over my hands. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to curve again, and then I'm going to add little loops like so. And then that's kind of like the fish scales. Can you see that? It'll look a lot better when I add the texture, I hope. And now this one, because I've gone, let me work this out, loop down, so I'm going to have to go that way this time. There's nothing worse than doing a piece of artwork for ages and then realise that you've made a really simple mistake, like you've gone the wrong way or something. So you see the fish scales going that way this time. Okay, and now just the final one. And if you do get little pencil smudges everywhere, don't worry, you can rub them all out, can't you? Now these are supposed to be guidelines and I've just pressed too hard, so I'm just going to ever so slightly just rub them out so you can only just see them, okay? And then, like I said, just try your hardest to be light if you can. Easy said than done though. I'm just very heavy handed and I always get smudges everywhere and end up rubbing everything out. Okay, and then obviously where it bends, I can just fill that in with a little bit more hair. So can you see that they kind of look like fish scales now? Alright, and just like I did with the hair, just like I did with the bricks, I'm obviously just going to add a little bit of light. And once again, the light source is coming from here, going that way. So we've got dark, medium, light, so I'm going to do the same with the fish scales, and I'm just going to this is where it can get really time consuming, because you've got to do each one. You've got to be patient, okay? So you can ruin your drawing if you mess this up. And given the fact that this is a 2-hour lesson for you lot, I would suggest that you kind of do it in 2 halves, and like I said before, go for a cup of tea, come back and have a look at where you've done it. So I've just added a bit of texture there. You can see, sorry, not texture, tone. You can see that I've added a bit of tone there with the mediums and the lights. So now I'm just going to add the darks using the 4B pencil, and a lot like I did with the bricks, I'm just going to add you see there, and then I'm just going to go over that top bit just a tiny little bit, so it looks like it's against the white. Peel that back, you see that? Good. Alright, so once again, we'll start with the 2B pencil. I'm just going to add tiny bits of turn on this side. Remember, it has to be this side so that it continues the light source. Don't forget, you can just fast forward this video in places if you want, or you can simply just have it on in the background whilst you're doing your art. Very tedious exercise this with the fish scales, the brickwork, because they're bigger shapes you kind of feel as though you're getting a lot more done, but you're not. They're all kind of the same. Wherever you've got a shade, you've got to make sure that you're just doing it bit by bit, taking your time. And then I'm just going to switch to this. I'm just going to give my pencil a little quick sharpening. Make sure that you've got a real nice sharp pencil for like shading. And then all I'm going to do, look, I'm just going to push out some of those highlights and drop some of the darknesses by just adding little bits of darkness here and there. Doesn't have to be everywhere, just every now and again, because obviously you'd like to think that fish scales would be wet, so you'd think that all the highlights are actually all over the place in random kind of parts, but you can see now that some of those parts are coming to life because of the darkness. See, the darkness not only adds to the depth, but it also brings it out a little bit more because it makes the highlights pop out that extra bit. So all the white bits are what's coming out at you, and all the dark bits are the bits that are dropping back. Because when we're drawing with pencil and we're trying to create 3D, that's what we're doing. We're trying to create depth, the visual illusion of an actual texture, but with pencil. Now I've got a little gap there, so I'm just going to fill that in, the hair, so that it blends into that one that I've previously done. There we go. So I like to think that's finished now. And then obviously just this last little bit should take me a few minutes. But again, sharpen your pencil.